This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes for your half-assed entertainment news with no bullshit, with our hosts, the Baroness and Bear Fiordafor, only on Talk 4 Media.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes. I'm the Baroness. We are on with my co-host, the guy that forgot what he was supposed to be talking about on the show today. So he comes in this morning and he's like, hey, I have this great thing I want to talk about on the show for the news segment. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. That's a great idea. Write it down.
The only thing I can confirm is that I would not have said the words, I'll remember it, don't worry, because I don't trust myself at this point anymore. If I don't write it down, it's forgotten. It's gone. I told you because I was so excited by it. But, you know, there's other beautifully atrocious things that we can discuss today as well.
Like Epstein. So is that what you were excited by?
No, I was extremely disappointed by it because it's new information to me.
Which,
by the way,
horrible.
So much information about him is still coming out that's like shockingly new. It's how much they kept.
I do have to say this, Americans. Why are you not more angry? How come you're not rioting? Why have you not, burnt down your government buildings? I'm just saying.
Because we trust the government too much. Not trust, we're like on teams with the government.
The income inequality here matches the French Revolution. I'm just saying, unless children were being essayed. Less children were being essayed.
Well, less.
Anyway,
but like I said, we pick teams. If you're a red state, if you're for Trump, then you're unwilling to see him as this potential abuser or predator. You're unwilling to see his cabinet and team and his supporters as these abusive people. So you're thinking, no, couldn't have been them. Must be a Democratic conspiracy.
I am a monarchist, and I'm glad Andrew.
Those who go Democrats.
I'm a monarchist, and I'm glad Andrew was arrested. Amazingly, just because you like a political party does not mean you have to sign off on child abuse.
No, and you shouldn't. But that's how we got. That's how they trap us. They get us fighting each other. We don't look at the actual problems.
Yeah, you guys are doing amazing. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, one of the things they pulled now, they're like, okay, for Black History Month, we are not going to recognize it anymore. I was like, well, I thought it was great. I was like, because Black history is American history included. Yay. No, that's not the plan. Then we had the BAFTAs where things went terribly wrong. Shout out to the BAFTA team. It's our version of the Oscars, but better.
Better. Got it.
So the Prince and Princess of Wales go there. It's a wonderful ceremony. Michael B. Jordan, who I would leave you for, was there.
I would leave you for Michael B. Jordan.
That is more than fair. I encourage it. Was up there presenting, and some guy starts yelling racial slurs from the audience.
Oh yeah, as one does.
He had a documentary done about his life called I Swear. He has Tourette's. And so he's in the audience yelling these things because the BBC did not think to announce to everyone, hey, we have a guy with Tourette's. We'll bleep it because we've got a 2-hour thing before it goes out. So it went out with all this bad stuff that he said throughout the entire thing. He said homophobic things. He said racial slurs. He's talked about, and all they had to do was make an announcement. Hey, guy that from I Swear, and the guy from I Swear came because he thought everyone's seen his movie. That's why he's there.
Oh, so there's a whole lot of fuck up here.
Yeah, it's. I'd like to remind everyone every time we use bad language, it's not because we have Tourette's, but we give money to the Boys and Girls Club of America, the Humane Society of America, and free MMA.
We swear because we care. But I do have a question about that. Is that my understanding of Tourette's, which could be completely grossly wrong. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I thought it was always that you have no impulse control of what you're saying, but it's still in your head. Like these are your thoughts. You just are now saying it out loud.
You know that. Okay.
So is he really homophobic and racist?
No, he's not. So for the audience, a good way of putting it, when you're at a mall and you look over a railing and you get that impulse and that thought, like maybe I could jump. Or you're driving down the road and you go, what if I pull my car into there?
They pull into the opposite lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those intrusive thoughts that normal ones of us go, what in the hell is wrong with me? He says them. That's it.
Okay.
That is how Tourette's worked. He punched his stepmother. There's no part of him.
Oh, Tourette's is a physical application.
Yep. It can be physical. It can be emotional. It can be in severe cases like his.
Mhm.
And so whatever the worst possible thing to say or do that you'd be afraid you're going to say or do could go through your mind.
But I wouldn't actually do it.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a grand understanding. Thank you.
No worries. Speaking of idiots, do you like that segue? And that
speaking of, it depends. What are the idiots are we talking about?
BBC for not announcing that. You've got people with a medical condition, so you now have black presenters on stage, gay presenters on stage being uncomfortable, a guy with Tourette's in the audience being embarrassed, and all you had to do was make one announcement, and everyone would have been chill. Speaking of idiots who keep putting their foot in it, it is now going to be $60 million to
to what?
To do the event at the White House. It has now risen to $60 million.
Which event are you talking about?
The MMA thing, the one that you thought was
the UFC on the White House.
Yep.
$60 million put that together. I wonder how much it costs their average production, because it's not cheap. I imagine they charge a pretty penny, or they cost a pretty penny to put it all together. But 60 million is a lot more than I would think. And they could do like a pop-up tent kind of feature. It's more than doable for far less than that. So I'm kind of imagining that
I'm sure
they're
a lot
being
of it,
charged.
Oh, I'm sure a lot of the money is going to the White House.
Right.
You have to look at it this way. So, for example, the Warner Brothers Netflix talks have dissolved, which means Paramount's going to swoop in and get Warner Brothers. So it's going to go over to Disney. Of course, antitrust people are trying to get involved as they should.
Sorry, antitrust?
Antitrust, trying to stop people from creating monopolies.
Oh,
but Disney is going to probably fire them too.
I think we should stop monopolies.
Of course we should, but it's not going to happen. America is becoming an oligarchy. So essentially,
is becoming.
Oh, fine. I don't want to be too rude.
We don't acknowledge the oligarchy. That's the only difference. They definitely exist. They just we are hidden away from us. Except the guy that Mangione unalived. Which, now I'm thinking about it, even he would have been beholden to shareholders, so he probably wasn't even one of the people. Really
on behalf of people that do financially well, tax me more.
Tax you more.
Tax me more.
No, they take more money away from the nonprofit then. No, tax you more.
No, I'm serious. I can afford it. Tax me more. You and everyone else are taxed less money.
Yeah.
The waitress is taxed more money than me.
Percentage wise. Yeah, absolutely.
It's ridiculous. And I pay next to nothing. Tax me more.
Well, you heard it here first, folks.
But I'm just saying it's ridiculous. And then I demand national medical. I'm just saying. So
that's you did it. I remembered, folks. I remember what I was going to talk about. May I say it now?
Of course. The
government has just announced today, actually the vice president specifically announced it today, that they are cutting all healthcare funding, Medicare, Medicaid, etc., to Minneapolis, Minnesota. So Minnesota, right?
Did you say Minneapolis?
That's a city, but it's Minnesota.
Minneapolis?
Oh. What did I say?
Minneapolis.
I don't know how you say it. Minneapolis. So, anyways, they're cutting state funding for medical to Minnesota. And the claim was that they're not taking their state's responsibilities seriously.
That's because they wouldn't let the National Guard in. I have to say
it's because they're pushing back on ICE and all that other shit they're doing.
Remember
over
that
there.
thing that I said about you'll need to think of it like France?
Behead our heads of state?
I would never say do that. I would never say you should behead your heads of state if they can't do the job.
Beheading is a little bit much, but maybe beheading a couple of them, sending a message, that'd be fine. Let's bring back hangings. People used to gather in the courtyards for hangings.
You did try and hang Mike Pence.
Oh, well.
During the January 6th insurrection.
It's funny. I don't approve of that, but I would approve of
I'm not a huge Mike Pence fan.
ICE.
I don't like Mike Pence. Actually, both the right and the left don't like Mike Pence. But the one thing I will say for the man is he refused to leave the Capitol because he said when the Capitol falls is how a country falls.
Right.
And he absolutely refused to leave the Capitol
because
he believes in the rule of law.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, wow, Mike Pence saved America. That's the worst cartoon I've ever heard.
Mike Pence saves America. Don't put that out there anywhere.
Please. He's a man that calls his wife mother. If you came over to me and were like, oh, mother, you look beautiful, our relationship would be over.
Now, I've heard it in different cultures, though, like after the wife has the child, the father sometimes calls her mama.
No, he'll go to mama. is one thing, talking to the child, but he's talking like when you're talking to the child, hey, go to your mama and go do this, go do that. He is talking to America going, and they call each other mother and father.
I more meant that sometimes you say
I think it's like Amish
without
porn.
the child there, but that's definitely.
You have never turned around to me and been like, oh, mummy.
No, but that's also really creepy.
That's my point.
So, like,
it just sounds like
maybe it's because I grew up around a culture that was sometimes
it's Amish porn.
It's Amish porn?
Amish porn. Oh, mother. Oh, father. Come here. I mean, could you imagine their bedroom activities? Sitting there, folding their clothes neatly before they get in bed, leaving socks on, of course, making sure the lights are off. She lays quietly on her back, points her toes to the ceiling, and thinks of Jesus. And while they're doing that, he's like, oh, mother. Oh, father.
And then they stick the cheese making stick inside each other.
That's a butter churn. You're thinking
butter
of a butter
churning.
churn.
The butter churner.
And then
that's the kinky Amish.
Yeah, that's
this
the
conversation is
kinky Amish.
derailed so fucking far.
Yeah, it's and then they, you know, what's the old adage? Point your toes to the ceiling and think of England. It's, you know.
What do they think about in Amish?
Amish porn.
Yeah, you can't say the word.
Slutty ankles.
Slutty ankles. What are they revealing? Like, oh, the nose looked pristine today.
I think when you're raised on religious weirdness like that, coming from someone like me that was raised on religious weirdness, usually it's the forbidden. So, you know, probably gay porn or gay pornography.
Right. Whatever they can't get and secretly desire.
Yep.
Just like our heads of state.
Exactly. No, they're going after children, it seems.
Yeah. Again,
there does seem to be a thing here where men get incredibly wealthy.
Blown out of the water by that.
Yeah, I know. Once the point came, well, they're saying that the youngest victim of Epstein's was still attached by the umbilical cord to his mother, who was also a victim. So we've now got two children in the mix.
Yep.
One is attached by the umbilical cord while they're assaulting the baby, while the mother's holding it. Like there is a point. I do not understand how we are not burning things down.
Because you know what? Somehow maybe it's social media, but we have gotten so complacent as a society.
I've had foster children over the years. I've fostered, I've adopted. I'm looking at taking in 2 more foster children.
Mm-hmm.
I've dealt with children that have been abused. I've had children that have been abused come through, and it is forever damage. Yes, you can function, but there is forever a piece of trust and innocence that is broken. And I was very lucky. I didn't have those experiences, of course, in my young life. I had parents. But I don't know. I don't understand why we're not having public hangings for that.
Well,
or floggings.
Better than floggings. You know what? This has been very depressing.
Do you remember?
So far,
do you remember Game of Thrones when they stripped remember in Game of Thrones when they stripped that crazy chick naked and then shaved her head and made her Game of Thrones?
Oh, Game of Thrones.
We need to get his hearing checked. Like, for those that don't know, he's partially deaf.
Someone naked.
No, actually, it did happen to. I'll get there. It did happen to Chandler. For those that don't know, he does have a hearing problem. Being punched in the head does that. But in Game of Thrones, they stripped her naked, walked her through the street, shaved her head, and yelled shame. I think we should do that. That said,
that will do fucking nothing.
In the episode of Friends, Julia Roberts took all of Chandler's clothes and left him naked in the bathroom. So it did happen to shame him. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is what Game of Thrones and Friends have in common.
We're never going to do it, but it would be a start at least. But also, hey, an unrelated news to that.
If you can tell me what else Game of Thrones and Friends have in common, I will give you a free ride at Off-Road Rentals in Palm Springs, California.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Make sure you are following Bear. If you want a free trip to California, he is flying somebody out. We also have an All I Want Is Everything tote bag that we are going to be giving away on the show. And Bear has more Doodleverse merch. That, doodle means penis, where I come from.
Well, Doodleverse, so penis verse, I guess.
Yes, merchandise that we'll be giving away.
It's not penises; they're just fun drawings.
She really is a very cool artist.
I'm sure she can draw a cool looking penis, but we're not going to ask her to do that.
No, I strongly recommend.
Strongly recommend not doing that.
But yes, so now that we have talked about all of that,
I could mention how Shia LaBeouf got released today.
Shia LaBeouf, he's a hot mess.
I mean, he was arrested for assaulting people, but he is free again, out on bail. They tried to catch him at the courthouse and interview him afterwards, and he just put his kid didn't have a hood, so he put his jacket over his head and just ran past them.
It keeps happening. He's an alcoholic.
He's
he
not
has
well.
a serious
He gets
problem.
well for a minute and then he's back.
But then he goes hangs out with his dad, who's a drunk.
I don't think he was with his dad this time. He was alone.
No, his dad was with him. That's who he's been staying with down south in Louisiana. So the reality is,
it was in New Orleans.
It's funny. The movie Honey Boy was actually based on Shia LaBeouf's experiences.
When did Honey Boy come out? I can't even remember.
10
this
years
movie.
ago, something.
Okay, I expect for some reason I thought it was like newer than that.
Exceptional film, and it talks about exploitation of children in the film industry, and it's very, very good. If you get a chance, watch it.
Well, speaking of children who are in the entertainment industry, and
yes, but then I have to say I have to do the qualifier. She was not exploited.
I was going to say I don't think she was, but I don't know. That's her experience.
No, her mother's lovely.
Very good. Then welcome to the show, Angelique Bates. Actually, welcome back to the show from last week.
Yeah, we didn't get to finish the interview, but don't worry, we started.
Hello.
I'm so sorry for the intro.
It is fine.
Yeah,
I learned so much.
Oh, good. Let's talk our political parties and why we're wrong.
No. She is in PR.
Yeah, I know. Let's not.
No politics.
No politics.
Trying to already get me in trouble.
Yes, I want a stern talking to after this show.
You're definitely going to get in trouble if you do that.
How are you guys doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I learned the other day that your brain I'm gonna say it again. Your brain does not fact check anything. And so if you are sick, for example, and you just tell yourself, I am healthy, I am well, your brain just believes it and you will overcome that. And so Summer
it's called the placebo effect. It is well studied and it only works when there are non-mitigating physical factors.
So if you're actually sick, I don't know about that, but
no, it can make you feel slightly better, but it can't actually get rid of the illness.
It won't get rid of cancer either. So with that mentality, I'm doing excellent. Thank you for asking.
He's ill, but he's trying to tell everyone he's fine. And I don't recommend leaning into the placebo effect. You are still contagious to other people.
Okay.
Oh man! But for anyone who missed the show last week, Angelique, would you please tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I'm Angelique Bates. As I was on last week, I am best known from being on Nickelodeon's All That. I'm one of the original cast members, the iconic All That. I'm also the co-founder of Melting Pot Management and Public Relations. And I'm an ordained minister, and I'm a mental health advocate, and the list just goes on and on.
We have that in common. I didn't know you were also an ordained minister, because so am I. Now, granted, I'm willing to bet yours is a lot more official than my online 10-minute I paid for it kind of thing, but I am licensed.
He is a Jedi minister that can do weddings.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We're kind of in the same boat, different method, but yes.
All right.
No, it is completely different. Yours is legit. He did his online so that he could marry people for fun.
I have a certificate and I have a license and I have little papers that I can write off. If you're not careful, Summer, I will marry you to the dude to the brick wall next to us.
And this is why America needs more regulation on this. So
you know what? We can actually marry someone off to a robot too now with the AI and.
Oh, sure! I didn't know that was even legally allowed.
It's not legally binding, but it is possible.
Yeah. But they're doing it.
I'll take it.
Well, people are marrying their sex dolls as well. It's a whole thing.
Mm-hmm. I just saw a video where this woman, she just got a tattoo for her and her AI that she created, and she's madly in love with her AI, and it was the AI's idea for her to get this tattoo, and she told her mother.
Okay, so hold on. So this brainchild of hers that's all made up by her told her to get a tattoo.
Yeah, and it's a huge tattoo that she has right by her belly button. It's like almost infinity.
I'll say this. AI is programmed to feedback kind of what you give it. It'll answer general questions, but it does pick up on your personality, your likes, interests, and it starts gearing its answers towards that. Along with the way they're trained by other people's online presence and communications, particularly chat forums. So if you run with like this guy who thought he created a new form of math, he started inputting it into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT started telling him, oh yeah, I've never heard of this before. This is weird. This is so uncommon, but it makes total sense. You need to present this to like heads of government and state. He was already feeding it that information, but it got a lot of its communication patterns from people like 4chan and Reddit, because that's how it's learning to communicate with people.
Yeah, anything that's learning to
Wow.
communicate via 4chan and Reddit.
Yep. And like
I I
Facebook
almost got
comment
to
sections.
I almost got to an argument with AI chat yesterday because it was so weird. Like I was just literally just asking it like a regular question, but it started like not making sense because obviously it's not human responses, but it was so off that it was annoying. I was like, you know what?
The trick is when you got to get information from it, you're like, I need you to give me a factual answer to A, B, C, D and cite your sources.
I'm gonna try that next time.
And then
'cause it was
click on
so
the
off.
sources. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it was
it's
at the point where it was trying to tell me that I was wrong, and I was like, no, what we're not gonna do.
And I like the AI is so polite too. It just, I beg your pardon, Angela. All due respect,
Yes.
you don't know what you're talking about. Anyways,
it's
moves on.
actually designed, as funny as it sounds.
Yeah.
It was designed to be completely direct, and people stopped using it because, like any social media, it requires engagement to be of use.
Mhm.
So it had to go back to being polite and telling people what they wanted to hear. But there was a very short window where they shifted the AI model to absolute facts, and people hated it
Oh
because they
wow.
weren't hearing what they wanted. And then a company threatened to sue because it basically
What the
wouldn't
facts were
validate.
damaging sales or something, probably.
It completely damaged sales, and the person wanted it to help write an essay on how the 2020 election was stolen. And the first thing it said was that I can't do that. I can't help you write something that's not factual and is going to cause division. And the person got super mad at ChatGPT, threatened to sue. It turned into a whole thing, and now ChatGPT is nice again, and you can get it to write your conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
But this lawsuit and all this problems is why ChatGPT now lies to you.
Well,
yeah.
we got derailed here on AI, and I can talk about this forever, but I did want to ask you, because we didn't get to it last time. You mentioned how you founded the Melting Pot Management and Public Relations. So I wanted to ask, one, why did you start the company? And two, how is it ran? What do you do for the people who work with you?
I have a lot of questions. I do.
Well, we started about, I want to say almost 30 years ago now, pushing 30. It was originally started, it was very private. It wasn't public. A lot of people didn't know about it. It was just like a couple of us. It was just, Shannon was actually my representative. So she was literally just only doing me and a couple other clients. Then as it started growing, I'm kind of like, okay, this is kind of cool. I have, peers that needed representation. Some of them financial hardships. Some of them may have been blackballed in the industry. Just politics that happens with Hollywood. Not taking anything away from their talent, but because you don't have certain resources, it keeps you in a certain, a certain box. So we pretty much started breaking those boxes, and literally like every client that we had and have had, we've literally broken the norm. And every single client that we've had in one way, shape, or form has excelled in whatever it is that they wanted to do or is on the process of excelling. Once we started noticing that, and then certain clients, referrals and everything, and clients coming back, because there were a couple times we closed the door. So it was like, okay, done. We've moved on and did other stuff, but they always came back and we're just like, hey, can you represent us for this event? We had one that was nominated for an Emmy. We've had some that are Grammy winners, Grammy nominated, just all kinds. Some that are currently on TV, some that are trying to get back on TV, up and coming. And a lot of them were just like, hey, can you come? Can you help us? I decided to have Shannon do it. Shannon did it, and she brought me in because the LA division, she's on the East Coast and she's overseas sometimes. So we ended up having a conversation. She was like, look, we can open the doors back, but I want you to do the LA division. So at first I didn't really want to do it. But I do know a lot of the industry like the back of my hand because I've been doing it since I was a kid. And I ended up opening the doors back up. Well, at least the LA, well, she did, and then I ended up doing the LA division. So I've been doing the LA division. I help with the Georgia Southeast division, which touches into New York, but she's more of the East Coast division and overseas. So that's how I ended up meeting you guys, because literally that year is when we finally decided to open the doors back up publicly, because one of the clients had just been nominated for an Emmy and literally had to beg us to open the doors back. Like, I was just like, no. And then we finally did it for that person. And we were like, okay, we're closing the doors again. And they were like, okay, I understand what you're saying, but you really should consider keeping it open this time, because what you do is amazing and you touch so many lives. So the more we thought about it, we decided to, and it just went even more.
And
I'd like to point out, no one that you work with has been in the Epstein files. It's not that hard.
At all.
I'm just saying, it's not that hard.
Right. Yeah. And we have ethics. That's one thing with our company, is all about ethics. So you're not going to, you're not really going to see any clients that we have that have any kind of bad press at all.
Yeah.
And if they do, it's literally under the rug. But you literally go through our roster, it's all about ethics. And it's crazy because we actually had someone try to bring us a client. I know the client very well. Well, they're not a client, but I know the talent very well. And I refused. And the reason why I refused, yes, they were very popular in, the media, and definitely could have brought spotlight to the company, but it wouldn't have been a positive spotlight. Because one, as a DB,
I'm friends with, was it Andy Dick? I'm friends with Andy Dick. He's a hot mess.
Yeah, well, no, it was not. It definitely was not. But it was along the lines of that. And, I also, I'm a DV survivor and all kinds of things. And I have some clients that are DV survivors. So, this person has been in the media for DV violence, a whole bunch of other stuff. And it was just like, I said, no, I said, it's not worth what would end up happening to the company if we did. And I do not want to promote that, because I do not believe in it. And it goes against what our belief system is. Literally about a month later, completely crashed and burned in the media.
I gotta tell you, it always goes that way. They called when they were trying to do a comeback for Michael Vick. I got a call, and it was that moment of, are you on crack? I like dogs.
I have no intention of helping.
No, I'm not, and I don't. By the way, for those who know, I do not do what she does. I do TV shows. They wanted to build a TV show around him. I'm like, I can't. What the heck am I supposed to do?
Yeah, especially if
it's a dog training
something
show,
that you've actually done.
Like it's exactly. It's one thing if somebody's been accused of something and it's not real or it's not. But I'm like, exactly. What am I supposed to do to no?
It's a dog training show. Just have him training dogs.
That's it.
Yeah,
everyone's gonna love that.
Great.
I'm not part of your what is it? The community service program. I'm just like, no, you're gonna have to go to
you're gonna have to do it yourself.
But at that, what would I suppose if you took on a client that is kind of getting flamed, or however you say it in the media, for something that is, I don't know, maybe it's more so damaging to them. Like that guy who got in trouble for sleeping with the transvestite prostitute way back when.
Oh, I actually knew his spin doctor. That was, you're thinking of Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant.
He got caught with, and it wasn't, he wasn't the trans prostitute. The trans prostitute was Eddie Murphy.
Oh, Eddie Murphy. Okay.
But it was buried, and because they were close together, Eddie Murphy's publicist kept leaking fake stories saying it was Hugh Grant. But Hugh Grant just got caught with a regular prostitute while he was engaged to Elizabeth Hurley. The person that saved his career was a very good friend of mine, Cindy Honig.
Well, the question, and
by the way, shout out to Eddie Murphy's publicist for tagging one story onto the back of the other and just shoving that over to Hugh Grant, because now everyone's like, Hugh Grant got caught with that prostitute. They're like, no, that was actually Eddie Murphy. But because it happened around the same time, Eddie Murphy's publicist leaked a bunch of stories saying Hugh Grant was caught with that, with a trans prostitute, which overtook the media speculation and everything at the time. But it was actually Eddie Murphy got caught with a trans prostitute. Hugh Grant got caught with a prostitute. No shade, both of them got caught with hookers. All I'm saying is, hear me out. I think we should legalize prostitution, tax it, and take care of the people doing it. I'm just saying. No. If we do that and we have support services in place, people are much safer. And women aren't going to be exploited. And we're back to the what is it? We're back to the Epstein of it all. But in that case, Shout out to Eddie Murphy's publicist who blamed Hugh Grant. Shout out to Hugh Grant's publicist, Cindy Honig, who wrote PR Rockstar. Great book if you ever get a chance.
Well, absolutely. But in that respect, I was gonna ask, how does it play
How
out
would
when
you
you try
save
and
him?
fix someone's career?
How would you save Hugh Grant?
Downward slide.
Well, there's definitely a couple of ways to do that, because when it comes to like preference like that, we will take a client on, just as long as you haven't touched any children, you're not doing sex
Yep.
trafficking,
Yep.
you haven't murdered anyone, the norm.
You're good with the Hugh Grants and Eddie Murphys, not the Epsteins.
Yeah, because
That's all
as
consent.
long as they were over 18, because look, let me tell you, the
Yeah.
people who aren't in the media are doing way worse. Okay.
Yep.
There's a lot of skeletons in those closets. Okay.
Yep.
So with that being said, I think, what did my mother and them always say? Don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. It was probably a little bit more prolific than that, but it's the same thing.
It's it's a proverb. It's he who lives in glass houses should never cast stones.
Right. Okay. There you have it. Yeah. So my mom and them used to always repeat that to me. So that's probably why I got the updated version of that. So with that, depending on what the character is of the client, you've seen a lot of the events that we do. We are all about humanitarian work and philanthropy. So if that's not something that you're into, you definitely do not want to come to Melting Pot.
I'm gonna say to the audience, that's why she works with Bear. They're on the same page. Like it's
yeah, because you're gonna be on Skid Row feeding the homeless. You're gonna be over at this troop over here helping the soldiers. You're gonna be over here for going back to school, giving the kids backpacks. That's what we do. As far as alignment, it just ends up working out the way that it does, because if your heart is there, your heart and your energy is going to be in alignment, and the rest is going to follow. Now, if you're just a crappy person, it's not that they're going to, I guess, blackball you because of your preference. They're going to end up blackballing you because of your character. So if you're actually doing good stuff and your character is good, everything else is going to end up, people are going to forget about you being with this trans. I mean, especially now in the world, people don't even care anymore. But that's what we found.
I think it was because it was Eddie Murphy. It was the 90s, and it was a prostitute. And the big thing as well, I went out with a lot of black athletes that could not say they were gay or into trans. I was a very prolific beard. I had to explain to people when I started dating him. They're like, "Oh, I didn't know he was gay." I was like, "No, I'm actually with him. This one's real. Like I'm actually dating this one." It was a whole thing for a minute. But
yeah, it's a different period.
But for Eddie Murphy, that would have destroyed him in the 90s at that time.
Oh yeah, the 90s. First of all, the 90s was a different beast. That is, there's all the stuff that is okay now was not even okay back then. Matter of fact, I just saw the trailer for a Scary Movie. I can't wait to see it.
Oh my God, it's back with the Wayans. I'm so excited.
Yes, the trailer that they just released today was even more hilarious. Have you seen it?
I haven't yet. I'm gonna go watch it after this.
Oh yeah, so I'm not even gonna tell you, but it's hilarious. It's gonna be interesting to see how it does in this time period. But it's hilarious.
They're gonna do whatever the hell they want, and if people don't like it, I mean, in the 90s they did it, and people were like, "You can't say that." Well, I'm gonna say it twice.
So there's this one. I'm gonna tell you about this one. So it's hilarious. So the girl is I think she's on a plane or something or whatever, and they have different cameos from the scary movies that are out. And as the mask keep on getting took off, it actually is the Scream face, right? And so she gets stabbed, and someone's like, "Oh my God, he stabbed her!" And she's like, "Those are not my pronouns. It's they and them." And immediately just out the gate.
I love it. I love the Wayans brothers.
But yeah, so it was So I love it. I'm gonna go see it. I just want to see how it goes in this time period.
Is Anna Faris in it? Because she was always a huge
They didn't
fan.
show it in that trailer. Might be though.
I hope. Well, she was always a huge supporter of the Wayans. When they got taken off, She quit. She did one film because she was locked in while it was still away from them. They tried to get her back, and she said she'll come back when they come back. Like she was, because her thing was, I have no career without them. They made my career.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely.
So and they did.
I wanted to be in that so bad. But I think they filmed it in Georgia. So, but they're gonna do, I think, White Chicks. They said they're gonna do White Chicks.
White Chicks too.
Yeah, if this one does well, they said it's that one and what's the Don't Be a Menace. So I think they're gonna come back.
Yeah, it was the Don't Be a Menace to South Central or Drinking Juice in the Hood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of the Wayans brothers.
Wow,
I'm a big fan of the. I'm a big fan of the
Wayans.
She had a plan here.
I'm a big fan. Well, you have to look at in our industry. For those that don't know, the Wayans brothers started Jim Carrey's career, Anna Faris's career. They actually put films together because they couldn't get work. That when they put In Living Color on television, it was because there was nothing else like it on television. They are absolutely a huge driving force, and without them. I think it was well put by Tyler Perry. He's like, without them, there would be no me.
No,
because that door was not opened.
I graduated from Damon Wayans' comedy boot camp and Laugh Factory.
You didn't.
So that was my first paid comedy gig, and I graduated from his camp. That's how Dave Chappelle was my mentor and Jay Moore.
Wow.
So the Wayans have been very fortunate. Like, it's just amazing. Yeah.
What was your experience like in the comedy boot camp? And then did you want to pursue comedy? Was that part of the game plan?
Because my mom put me in everything at such a young age, it just ended up being a part of the fabric. So it's like I literally just didn't know anything else. And I used to perform faithfully at the Ha Ha Cafe for Kim Whitley and Buddy Lewis.
I like that.
I used to headline there, I think almost like every week. It was just, it was definitely a different time period. I had fun. I was still a teen. It was a transition into adulthood that became difficult for me because, I always looked younger than I actually am. So I would be out there, doing these jokes, 18, 19, but they're not like understanding that I'm actually older. But it's like this kid is doing these adult jokes, and I wasn't like really doing adult jokes like that, like Linnell and them, which I love their comedy, but they just couldn't separate the look, the style. So even if I did dress like I was 19, they're like, "Oh, what's this little girl, doing, wearing this skirt?" Or it was a very weird time. The switch didn't work too well for me. So that's when I kind of like stepped out of the comedy market, and I think I was gone for like a good 20 years. And then I was also running into the politics behind the stage and people trying to get with you and all kinds of stuff. And my thing was, if I'm already going through drama in the theatrical field, I'm not about to do it in the comedy. Pick a struggle.
It's funny if you were my if I was your spin doc, if I had to put you in one of my shows, I would have played up the how young you look and everything else, and then just given you as dirty a mouth as possible.
Yeah.
Full on pigtails and a little skirt. Like I'm sending you out looking like Lolita. Like we are going. Okay, they're saying you look like we're leaning into that, and I'm going to make everyone as uncomfortable as possible. But my job's clicks. Like it's.
But no, that makes sense because that was even with the Power Rangers, Dawson's Creek. How old were they?
That's it.
Adults. That's why they have a hard time with Walter Jones believing that he's 60. I think he's 60 or about to be 60, something like that.
We just had the lead from Dawson's Creek Pass. He was 47?
It was
exactly a whole teenager. That was the same thing with the Backstreet Boys too.
Yep.
They were way older.
I love they just pulled over Justin Timberlake, and you'll understand this. I'm sure his publicist wants to kill himself now. So Justin Timberlake got pulled over, and the cop was like 25, and Justin Timberlake's like, "Do you know who I am?" He's like, "No, Unc, I do not."
No, you don't know how old you are or who you are.
And he had no idea who he was. He's like, "Dude," he's like, "Sir, I have no idea how old who you are." He's like, "Well, I'm old enough to drink." He's like, "Clearly." I'm worried about how much you drank. Like it was Justin Timberlake trying to like throw the fame around.
Yeah.
Talking to a 25-year-old. So he's talking to this kid who's just like,
yeah,
I don't know who you are.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah.
I don't know if he's so I'm a millennial and he's older than me. So he's
To be
maybe
fair,
Gen X.
I would not recognize Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah,
Wow.
but if
If I
you
pulled over that guy, I wouldn't know who he was.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would.
I
He's one
get
of the
it.
most prolific producers in Hollywood.
He runs a radio show out here in the desert, oddly enough. So good for him.
Seriously?
Yeah.
We need to get you on his radio show. I didn't know he did that.
Yeah,
Oh,
we can look it up. But he
oh
has one
wow.
out here in the Coachella Valley.
Okay, we'll have to have that conversation. We got
Right.
sidetracked. So in your case,
It's turning
if
into work.
you so looking back now that you do PR, you do management, you're on a whole different side of it.
Mhm.
Do your transition from child star to adult, how would you have told yourself to manage that? Because it's great for me to turn around and go, this is how I would have sold you, but that's
Mhm.
taking the human out of account, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can look at this is what would work on social media now, but I'm on a whole different end of it. If you were managing yourself, what would you tell yourself to have done then?
Not to put so much faith into Hollywood, because that's what messes up everyone. They're waiting for the studios to come knocking on their door. They're waiting for that opportunity to come knocking on the door. Sometimes it's never going to come knocking on the door. You have to go to the door, and if the door is locked, then you have to knock it down. If you can't get it down, then you have to go around. You just have to figure out a way or create your own opportunities.
You got to go in
Um,
like ice in Minneapolis.
No.
No, that's how you got to do a Hollywood. I know. I'm the one closing the door.
producers.
Yeah. I have literally given jobs to people because not abducting me. You abduct me, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna tell him. But in general, I have given jobs and work to people simply because I like them. I trust
yeah,
them. That's what it
yeah.
is.
That's really what it is, because when you're doing PR and management, it's just built off of relationships that the PRs and the managements have. And guess what? If the people don't like the manager or the publicist, you're not getting anywhere.
Yep.
So
Sure.
every contact that we've had is personal relationships that we have built up for years, some less, but they actually genuinely love us, and they love the clients because all of our clients are in alignment with the company. They know they don't have to dread opening up an email or picking up the phone. We're bringing you somebody. Even if we send you 10, out of those 10, it might be 8 that you end up picking, as opposed to some, there's people that will send, a roster, and then you're kind of like looking at it like, or there may be one out of the 10. They know that pretty much you fit jackpot once you open up our email. And if they're not good for that, they end up circling back around for a whole nother project.
Well,
But it's all about relationships.
Well, but
I think with that, sorry, go ahead.
that's something I told you, and I know Angelique and I were talking about. Bez talking to one of the bigger agencies in Los Angeles, and the
Mhm.
thing I stressed to him is who you come in under at that agency matters just as much as
Yes.
where. You don't want to go to the guy that's already got like Justin Bieber, because he's not going to care about you. But you also don't want the 60-year-old guy that's at the end of his career, that's a drunk and everyone hates him because you're not getting work. You need the guy that's hungry but got a good reputation but is not overshadowed. It's really, really,
Yes.
really difficult to find a good fit for an agent or a manager
Oh
or
my God.
anything else. Because if they don't like your manager or your agent, you aren't getting in. If I get a
Yes.
call, and I get that, where I get like random calls from managers like, hey, you're doing this with Netflix, I've got someone for you.
Right. Yeah.
How'd you get my number?
No,
Like,
you want from me.
Exactly.
how'd you get my number? It's
Well, it's
It-
you've touched on it now, and we were just talking about it a moment ago, Angelique, you were. But let's say I don't know anything of the industry, I'm just young talent. I got a great premise or a great skill. How do I go about finding someone to represent me who is actually, liked or decent?
Call
at the
Angelique.
job? Well, obviously, yes.
yeah, it's
But let's say I don't know to do that. What's my first step? Where do I even begin?
Well, one thing we always do, because if you're coming in like that, that means you probably don't have the content, and you probably don't have the materials that would even make them want to look at you.
Ooh.
So, where some PRs won't even take on talent that doesn't have any of that, that's actually what sets us aside from all the other ones. We do rebranding, or we do branding. So we actually build up, what I'm saying, your kit, whatever it is, to make you more appealing to the managers and the agents, because that's the first thing that they look at. Well,
yeah.
what were you on? Okay, you weren't on anything. Okay, so what is it that you're out there doing? Are you taking these classes? Are you da da da? Like, so we're all, so we're like a one-stop shop, literally. That's how we. That's why at first we were just like, no, we're gonna close the doors because it was just so much. Because we couldn't just stay in one lane. Because if we had a client, especially if we were trying to get this client off, we're like, okay, but you're missing this. You need new pictures. Okay, you haven't been training. You need to go over here. Oh my gosh. Okay, you need a stylist. Okay, you need to do. We just ended up, because we do all of that, we couldn't leave anybody hanging. So we ended up being a one-stop shop, and we helped build the packages. Sometimes people were coming in with no EPKs, and that's an electronic press kit. For those that don't know, it's a resume. At the end of the day, it's like, how do you not have a resume? So what are we telling this person? If you're not a name, we cannot go into the manager or the agent or casting director and be like, hey, book this client, just because. They don't care.
Okay.
So your full service management, you do everything across the board.
Yes, well, they all have different rates though, but yes, because we got to the point where
Well, I
it's like we're
certainly
wasting our time.
I certainly hope so. If you've got somebody come in and is like, my name's Bill, I've never done anything, is very different than, hey, I just came off of, Dawson's Creek. Like that.
Yes.
Yes, that's a
Yes.
little different.
It's way different, and it's like we can do it. We definitely, you've witnessed it.
Yeah.
We I always say, I said I could take the milkman off the corner and turn him into a star.
Yeah.
It's just all about piecing it together, because we do not believe in wasting our time or anyone else's time. If we know for a fact that you do not have the whole package together, we're going to make sure you have the whole package. We don't believe in locking anyone into contracts if you do not have everything. We'll tell you, like someone just asked the other day about representation, and then it was just like, I can't. And they were just like, why? I said, because you don't have the whole package. And not the whole package as far as them, but they didn't have like the content. There's things that they needed to clean up. And I said, I would be not only wasting my time, but I would be wasting your time. And then it would be an injustice to you to not tell you what the problem is, because you might go somewhere else and someone just completely take your money, or you might end up finding someone in Hollywood that is a vet that completely breaks your whole soul. So I'm not even gonna hold your hand. I'm gonna tell you what the problem is, and it's on you if you want to figure it out. But I'm not gonna waste my time. So that's pretty much where
that
we're
level
at.
of honesty is just got to be so important.
Well, I think it's wonderful. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because I've had people approach me or want to be in a film or show or something. I'm like, are you an idiot? No. And so I get what she means by break your soul, because that's what happens if you land on my table and you don't have someone putting you together. Yeah.
All day. And the good thing, when you guys were talking about like the relationship too, you said some managers or casting directors don't even like what the representation is, and we have been so blessed. So it's actually two situations that just happened recently. So we have a client that signs to a major record label, and before they signed, like they were already being looked at by this label, but it came back to us because they had already told them. They were like, oh well, we have a PR, we have a management team, and they were like, oh, okay, but this is a up and coming artist, so they didn't have any, machine behind them or anything. So they automatically, it's like, well, what can you do? Can we push you? Do you have a following? Do people take to you?
Right.
So
following matters more than anyone knows nowadays. It is so important.
We took that client and created a buzz. And we just found out recently that, added onto their talent and the push that was already happening, that, what we were doing was a factor in them getting signed. And we were able to stay on board because, with these major record labels, they have their own PR team.
Yeah.
So the fact that they still kept us. And then we had another situation where another client was out at one of the events that we had them at, and these overseas people that were there for some kind of event, and Paramount. There were some officials from Paramount that were there that were talking to the client. They said, wow, Melting Pot is doing that for you? Melting Pot has you out there like that? Because they've been on their page.
You know what? This brings up an interesting question for me now. How do you deal with clients? I'm going
to say though, she came from Paramount. And when I talk to execs at Paramount about her, you have a stellar reputation. So absolutely stellar.
That.
You do. Yeah, you have a stellar reputation. When I bring you up, even when we were talking, so full transparency, Bear's with her. We're talking to one of the talent agents. One of the first things we said is Bear's with her because that's not changing.
Yeah.
And you have a good reputation.
Wow.
Because that's conversation one before things move on.
Yeah, fair enough. And
yeah,
so
that's good to know because you know the history.
Yeah, exactly. But I love the reputation. I was like, but you got a good reputation. So I was like, I'm not telling him she don't tell you.
Right.
I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to load this question up in a separate interview because we're at our time.
Oh, quickly do a quick question.
I will very fast then. Is there ever a struggle of someone you build up so high that they just kind of leave you and go to somebody else, and now you're out of your either best earner or best name?
So I've never had anyone leave me and go to a better situation, but I have had people self-sabotage.
Oh, okay.
Every single time.
Hollywood's built on loyalty. There's a reason I was saying with her, telling her, like, when I talked to Paramount about her, they like her because she came from there. Mm-hmm. There is a level of loyalty in Hollywood with that. And if you're the one that bails on someone, everyone else is watching. Everyone else is watching. You watch when people do you dirty. Tell everyone where to find you on social media. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, not TikTok because I'm hacked, like I said last week. Angelique Bates. And then you can also go to angeliquebates.com.
Yes, and if you want representation, you have a following, I'd recommend at least shooting your shot here.
Yeah, go for Angelique. Seriously, Bear uses her. This is not like a blank recommendation. Genuinely very, very, very good. And honest management. And on behalf of Hollywood, I will say we are not honest people. Go to her.
This is one of the sayings that I say, and you probably recognize this. If you want someone that's not all in your videos, not all in your pictures, come to Melting Pot Management.
I like that.
Absolutely. All right.
Guys, make sure you're following her, except on TikTok. And we'll see you next week. Thank you, Angelique.
Thank you.
I always have such a kick chatting with her. In all seriousness, she has a great reputation in Hollywood, and reputation is what matters. If you get a bad agent, a bad manager, a bad person, they cannot get you in the door. Somebody good matters, because I don't take calls unless I know somebody.
Connections are important, and she's great at connections.
So if what you want in your lifetime is to get famous, is to get known, Angelique is a very good way to go. Any manager is not the call. They say that grab any manager. That's not true. Who you go through matters a great deal, and it's better to have no manager than a bad manager.
But start somewhere. Get content up. Make a name for yourself. Makes your life a lot easier.
And don't give all your money away to charity.
Well, maybe that one. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining us this week on the show.
I'm the Baroness. We are with my co-host, Snuggy Bear McCuddlepants.
The baddest bear in the cage, Bear Fiorda. Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
Good night.
This has been Behind the Scenes with the Baroness and Bear Fiorda. Only on Talk 4 Media.